So today I want to talk to you about my journaling framework, which I've created the acronym with the help of ChatGPT for Power Up. So if you want to find out more about it and why it's so effective, keep on watching, keep on listening. Welcome back to consecutive day 1684 of a diary of a runpreneur. Today we're going to talk about my newfound journaling habit and the framework I use so that it doesn't take up too much time, that I've created the acronym with the help of ChatGPT for Power Up. So before we get started onto the topic, please don't forget that this is part of a fundraiser to save the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultra marathon of run vlogging on consecutive days, a distance of a lap of the world, barefoot style. And any engagement we get gets us in front of more people, raises more money, and ultimately saves more children's lives, which is why I do this every single day. So back to the topic at hand, journaling framework. So yesterday's episode, I talked about my new kind of habit for 2025, which is to start journaling. And I talked about why I hadn't journaled so far and my resistance to the process, mainly due to the fact that I do this vlog, which was kind of my journaling style. And I've been doing this for obviously 4.5 years and counting, every single day. And it's been absolutely game changing for me. But journaling has kind of filled in the blanks and it filled in the gaps, or kind of covered the weaknesses that vlogging has when it comes to a journaling perspective. Well, first and foremost, when I vlog, I'm doing it when I run. I only run at certain times throughout the day, so invariably I can often forget things or not have a kind of a solid framework, or potentially doesn't follow up on things off the back of it. And what I've discovered is with journaling, I'm able to dip in and out throughout the day, a little bit in the morning, a little bit end of the day. Any notes throughout the day can be all set up and structured in a very compartmentalised fashion, meaning nothing gets forgotten, everything gets noted, and I kind of feel a whole new lease of productivity and organisation to my life. But the key thing about journaling that I was very resistant about is the time it takes to do it effectively. And what I mean by that is that, you know, when I'm doing this vlog, I'm talking for up to 10 minutes or so at a time. I mean, that's probably hundreds and hundreds, or possibly thousands of words that I would have to write down if I was going to do it in a typical journaling style of writing my feelings and thoughts, emotions, and everything down into a diary. And I wanted something that I could just dip in and out of. It was really quick fire. It would enable me to create a reinforced habit around it, where it doesn't feel like a hassle to do it every day. So I worked with my good friend ChatGPT, AI that so many of us are so used to using now. And I wanted to create an acronym or a framework for journaling and getting the key points into a journaling method in as a quick fire way. And we came up with some guidelines which were really effective, but then I wanted a way or framework or an acronym to kind of remember it. So again, lots of conversations with AI. Eventually we come up with one which was called Power Up. And it just makes complete sense, because that's what I'm trying to do with the journaling process, is powering up myself to get the best out of myself and be the best version of myself. So into exactly what it means. Well, Power Up stands for P is positivity. And what do I mean by positivity? Well, it's gratitude. So what am I grateful for? That's what the P stands for. O is objective. What is the number one priority that I want to accomplish today? W is worry. What is the biggest obstacle or challenge that I'm worried about today? E is for excellence. What is my biggest win for the day? R is for reflection. What have I learned today? This is a big one for me because obviously I do the learnings for my diary on my vlog. And then U is for understanding. How's my mood? How do I feel? How have my emotions been today. And then the final P is for plan. What are my plans for tomorrow? And it's a very simple framework. It's very easy to follow. I do the first three. So the positivity, what am I grateful for in the morning? Objective, what's my number one priority for the day in the morning? That's really easy to do now because of the final P in the acronym for the previous day. What are my plans for tomorrow? So it helps me kind of fill out what my number one priority is for the day. And then the W, what's my biggest obstacle or challenge that I'm worried about today? I get those 3 done in the morning, and the remaining 4 I do last thing at night. And it's really quick and easy to do, but it doesn't just end there. I've also kind of created 7 different kind of notes to this framework. So the journaling method all goes into a single note, whereas I break it down by quarter and by week over the course of a year. But I wanted to have a method that I could grow and evolve and manage without it becoming overwhelming. And I took this from a kind of framework that I found called Forever Notes, which was based on creating a journaling diary system in Apple Notes. Now I use an app called MindNode for this, MindNode, which is my kind of brainstorming, mind mapping. It's an iOS app, and it's iCloud. It goes across all your Apple devices. It's not available on Android, probably annoyingly for Android users, but it's one of my favourite apps. It's really easy to use. You can kind of set things up in a mind map format or a structured, logical kind of sectional process where you can kind of minimize and open sections. It makes it really nice and user friendly, and because obviously it syncs across all Apple devices, it's super usable. And so I've created a MindNode document, 7 of them in total, for the 7 value areas of my life, which are vocational, familial, financial, mental, physical, spiritual, and social. And this is data taken from Dr. John DeMartini's Values Factor book, which is a book that's been really game-changing for me. And then I've taken it a step further, where I've implemented the 12-week year, Brian Moran's 12-week year model into each note. So it's then structured based on 4 quarters of the year with 13 weekly sections. So what I can do is I can start mapping things out into each of those areas of my life on a quarterly and weekly basis, and I can then put my notes into weekly chunks. I can create tasks and actions into that process as well, for all the different areas of my life, and have them organized accordingly. Because obviously this app is usable across all devices, it's very easy to flick in and out of them. I've also created a kind of section at the top which links to all of the 7 different pages, so I can very quickly navigate between them without having to come out of each document and into the other. So incredibly useful. And the mental section, which is my mental health, my mind, my learning, that's where I journal. And anything to do with my learning or self-development from a mental perspective goes in there. Vocational is my career, my business. Familial is my family, my home life, personal life at home. Spiritual is my purpose, my mission, my philanthropic ambitions, which is through my Runpreneur charity. Physical is my physical health. Social is my social health and social life and everything that kind of goes with that. And financial is obviously about my financial life. And I have goals for each of them, quarterly goals for each of them. And I break those goals down into what I need to do on a weekly basis to achieve them. And yeah, it's just been, since I've set this up, it's like a huge weight off my shoulders. Now I still use Airtable and everything for task management within the business, but this is my notes, this is my journal, and quite a lot of what I put into this will be transferred into Airtable for vocational stuff. But everything else that's outside of my business kind of falls within this area. So I'll give you more updates on how this is going, because I've only really been using it for a week or so far. But it's already kind of given me a great way to capture things in all of how I've got a structure to categorize stuff in the right sections. I've got a structure to be able to put things into an actionable format so that things don't get missed. And it's just been really good. It's kind of removed a lot of overwhelm, anxiety and stress in my life already at this early stage. And it takes minutes to do in terms of the journaling side of things. But then the overarching system is always there for whatever I have to capture. Anything I need to capture, I can just drop it in there very, very quick and easily. Very easy to navigate around. And even when I'm doing kind of meetings and stuff, I put my meeting notes in there, and it's all kind of categorized based on dates. And then if I need to find things in the future, there's a really good search facility within the app. And as a backup, if it's something to do with meetings and things, I can refer to my calendar where my meetings are all logged, and I can very easily go to the corresponding quarter and the corresponding week to find the notes associated with it. So yeah, it's been really kind of enlightening to do this. So the learnings from my diary today are ultimately that if you're not journaling already, you're definitely missing out. Now, obviously you can journal in so many different kind of channels. I was doing a lot of journaling being my Runpreneur blog. But I think there's getting things down into a kind of a text-based format, whether it's writing or a digital version of text, which is preferable because it becomes searchable, is really important for your organisation, for capturing stuff that it's just going to take up mental fatigue trying to remember it. If you've got the ability to kind of capture things really quick and easily, jot things down in a very seamless and pain-free way, you just remove so much mental baggage. And these are all kind of ways in which to build up a mental health resilience, because, you know, it's all de-stressing your life. And stress is a silent killer. If you don't de-stress your life, or you don't have a release mechanism to relieve the stresses of day-to-day life, it's inevitably, depending on how stressful your life is, you've only got a certain tolerance. And if you start hitting those thresholds, you're going to be heading for a mental health breakdown. So it's been absolutely game-changing for me so far. Now, I'll come back to this over the coming weeks and months as I've used it more effectively and as I adapt it as I grow. But the early feelings are it's going to be an incredible, powerful introduction into 2025, which could be one of my most, it could be one of my best years ever, but there's a lot of work ahead to get anywhere near that statement. But anyway, that's it from me. Questions or comments, drop me a line. I will respond to everyone. Do remember though, if you believe in my mission of saving the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon of run vlogging all consecutive days, a distance lap of the world, barefoot style, then do give this a subscribe, share, like and comment. The more people we get in front of, more money we raise, more children's lives we save, which is why I do this every single day. Thank you as always. Stay positive, stay happy. I'll see you again tomorrow.